Hello and welcome to the Geeky Brummie Podcast. Joining me today, Mr. Keith Bloomfield.
Hello.
Mr. Lee Price.
Hello.
And Mr. Sam Edwards.
Hello.
How are you all? You good?
All good for our 250th plus one episode.
251st episode or Year 10 Issue 4. I know, Year 10, every time I say that, just But today we'll be talking about what's happened at the BAFTAs, which recently aired at the time of recording, and we'll be doing our usual trailer talk where we pick out some of the movies coming out over the next few months and rating them purely based on their trailer and is it worth a watch or not, plus our regular One Geek Thing, but we'll be back after this. So recently on TV and in person at the Royal Festival Hall, not us, but it was in person as well, was the BAFTA film and just the BAFTA television. This confused me now because they used to have the film and television awards. Now they have the television awards, the film awards, and the gaming awards, but it's still called the BAFTAs, which is British Academy of Film and Television. They haven't changed it to the BAFTA-GURS. So they do a gaming one, but they don't.
The games one's been around for like 20 years.
I know, but you think they'd put BAFTA rather than just BAFTA. But yes, so it was a British Academy Television Awards at Royal Festival Hall in London, hosted by Gregory Davis. And that was, so lots of nominations for a few favourites. One of those being Adolescence. Amanda Land got quite a few nominations. But so we thought we'd pick a few of the ones that might have actually watched. Maybe, I don't know. Is TV still relevant nowadays? But we'll pick through a few of them, and if they're worth a watch or not.
I have not seen anything.
Okay, so let's start off with Best Drama Series.
I don't know who won or was nominated, but I can safely say I have not seen any of it.
You have a TV for one purpose and one purpose only.
Yes, exactly.
To play games.
Yes. So let's start with the bigger categories. Best Drama Series. So did anybody watch Code of Silence?
Nope.
Did anybody watch 1,000 Blows, which was Stephen Knight, so local Brummie Stephen Knight and Stephen Graham, I believe.
Yeah.
No. About Victorians punching each other, I believe.
I'm pretty sure that we've not watched any of these.
Yes. Blue Lights. We've already lost Lee.
We're so on TV. We're so
The
good.
City is Ours.
I'm pulling up a potential backup because we haven't talked about the Game Awards.
Yes. So Code of Silence, 1,000 Blows, Blue Lights, The City is Ours. The winner was Code of Silence. Well done, them.
Well done.
Well done, Code of Silence.
Congratulations.
Best Scripted Comedy. I don't know why they have to make a distinction between scripted and unscripted comedy. Amanda Land.
Haven't watched it.
I saw the Christmas special and I actually thought it was excellent. Yeah.
Watch something. Big Boys on Channel 4, which I watched the first season of. I haven't seen the second season, but the first season is fantastic and I would really recommend watching.
Who's in that?
The wee English fella from Derry Girls is the main character.
That was so helpful.
But it's really worth the watch. It's quite a coming of age, going to university experience. So. But yes, it's quite a touching story. How Are You? It's Alan Partridge.
Okay.
I did watch that, but I was very not overwhelmed by it.
And then Things You Should Have Done on BBC Three. Is BBC Three still a thing, or didn't they make that all like online?
No, it's been back as a TV channel for quite a while.
No, it's been back for a while.
Yeah.
Okay. Limited Drama. Adolescence.
Did see that.
Sam's watched this one. Sam can tell us about Adolescence. What?
I like the idea of a limited drama. Was it like all the actors were like, only had a couple of hours time?
No, it's a very small range of emotions. It's limited drama. It's British.
We can only be sad.
You're not allowed to cry or be angry. It's limited drama.
They've all got a circle drawn around them and they're not allowed to move out of the circle.
Can't use one arm. Stand on one leg.
Adolescence has been winning awards for in everything it's been nominated in for so long that I was surprised it had won, only because it feels like it came out too long ago to still be eligible for winning all the awards.
I was surprised when this happened because I was thinking, didn't it win all the awards in the BAFTAs last year?
Exactly.
Yeah.
Just think, well, why is it still here?
I think it won a lot of the US awards because it was Netflix. So it was one of those Netflix productions. So it got global acclaim. And I think it just missed out on the BAFTAs last year based on the release date. So basically this is the whole annual cycle. Takes 12 months to get some stuff out.
So it's basically what we're going to get with I Swear next year.
At the Oscars next year.
Yeah. I didn't watch it.
I've heard really good things. Viv's watched it, who's producer Viv behind the camera, and she really, really loved it, and she keeps trying to get me to watch it. But
it's an incredible show. It's thoroughly, thoroughly depressing and very kind of close to home. It's like quite realistic. You can imagine it happening very easily with any like perfectly nice kid that you might know. It's a difficult watch, but Stephen Graham is, well, always excellent in everything, but he's particularly
does he play a particularly angry Scouser by any chance?
Yeah.
Not to say it's typecast, but particularly angry Scouser seems to be the default Stephen Graham role.
But he's very, like, there are moments where he's very angry, but there's also moments where he's very sad, and it's particularly heartbreaking.
Is he still like frowning while sad?
A bit.
Okay.
And then the other limited series, I haven't watched any of these either. I Fought the Law, Trespasses, or What It Feels Like for a Girl. Nope. The default one of them.
We are so like.
Right, we're going to know these. We're going to know these three. Best soap.
Okay.
So EastEnders.
I am aware of EastEnders.
We're aware of its presence. Yeah.
Casualty, and Coronation Street.
I've heard of all three of these, yes.
Yeah.
You see, Casualty's been around for like 600 years now.
Yes,
Whatever.
it's had
I
two
mean, all of them
spin-offs.
have been around for
Yeah.
600 years.
When did Casualty become a soap? I don't understand that because it used to go out like on a Saturday night as kind of like a BBC One drama. So it was kind of like it was like oh, we've seen the Americans do ER, let's do it in Britain, but like.
But it used to be
Badly.
about whatever amazing disaster had happened that week.
Yeah, for some reason a plane had crashed into a school or something.
Yeah, or a train crash or just something like that.
But when did it become a soap? I don't understand. Because I thought it was a drama. Now it's just, is it on like 5 nights a week, like every other soap
I
seems
think
to
it's
be?
more the fact that they've concentrated now on the characters rather than the actual what's
It's
going
going to be
on.
Grey's Anatomy.
It's gone very Grey's Anatomy. But yeah, it's quite surprised not to see like what are the other ones?
Emmerdale.
Hollyoaks, etc. There's a very limited category,
still
only
around?
3 of them. Yeah.
Hollyoaks.
Hollyoaks is going to go
so.
forever, yeah. They just did a Brookside revival crossover episode.
No.
Yes.
Wow. I liked Brookside.
Yes.
That was cool. I liked Brookside.
Some of the characters from Hollyoaks visited Brookside.
Wow, man.
So if
And I missed that.
Yeah, you missed that.
Right,
It's
it's
a real cultural exchange going on. That's all.
4 on demand. I'm looking at that.
Yeah. Best factual entertainment. So we had Go Back to Where You Came From, which did watch, and it was quite an interesting show. The Assembly.
It's the one where a bunch of people ask questions to people. David
yes.
Tennant was on it and
Yes.
stuff. Yeah.
Knife Edge Chasing Michelin Stars on Apple TV. I don't own Apple TV, so... Yeah.
I've got Apple TV and I've never seen that show.
And Race Across the World, which has been on for multiple seasons now. Quite like Race Across the World, it is quite obviously some staging going on with the production of how it's done. But yeah, Go Back to Where You Came From is quite worthy because that was basically taking people who were very anti-immigration and like parishing them into this is actually how they try and get over and all those kind of things. Yes. It was an interesting watch. Best international program. We'll have watched all of these.
Some of these.
Are they just all American?
Pretty much all
I think
American.
the international is
Apple-
that's for in Britain. That's it for us. It's,
Yeah.
like, it's American.
So Apple TV have got 3 of these. Disney has 1. Netflix has 1, and Sky Atlantic has 1. But which is really HBO, really. But just Sky Atlantic here in the UK.
HBO with extra steps.
Yes. So the nominees were The Studio, The Bear, The Diplomat, Pluribus, Severance.
Oh, a show which doesn't start with the.
Yes, and The White Lotus, just to finish, go full back circle. And the winner was The Studio, which is very fun. Seth Rogen kind of led pastiche of the Hollywood drama.
It was the most fun of the
Yeah.
shows
Yeah.
to watch.
I mean, The Bear always gets me because it's stuck in the comedy category in the Golden Globes because they didn't want to go up against.
It's not bloody funny though. It ain't funny. Well, it might be a funny, blackly funny, but it's not a comedy.
But yeah, The Diplomat, I think producer Viv is watching.
Is that the one with Claire Danes in?
No, it's the one with her from The Americans. Can't remember.
I don't know.
Kerry Russell.
Oh, okay.
Yes.
I've seen the picture on Netflixy and then skipped past it.
Pluribus is the Vince Gilligan follow-up, which Keith hates because Keith hates everything Vince Gilligan.
I don't hate everything Vince Gilligan. I like his X-Files stuff.
You don't like Breaking Bad. You did like Better Call Saul, and now you don't like Pluribus.
Yeah,
where he's been the showrunner in all three.
I got to episode 3 of Pluribus.
Yeah, you tried. Severance, again, heard lots of good things.
It's
a good show.
Absolutely incredible show.
It's a good show.
Yeah, and The White Lotus, I think it was such a big juggernaut to start off with, and now it seems to have...
I still love The White Lotus, but I know season 3 didn't go down as well as the first 2 seasons did for whatever reason.
I love that phrasing. Sorry. I was going to say, it's too sexy for me, that show. And Sam just went there.
Yeah, so best entertainment programme. So there was The Graham Norton Show. Very, very rough definition of entertainment. Michael McIntyre's Big Show.
Wow.
Would I Lie to You? And Last One Laughing, who was the winner. And Last One Laughing, I think, deserved to be the winner. I mean, throwing 12 very good stand-up comedians into a room together, and Bob Mortimer.
It was only going to go one way.
Yes. Best reality TV. So we have...
I'm sure we all watched every single one of these shows.
Squid Game The Challenge, which kind of defeats the purpose of the actual show.
Here's a warning. The warning is, actually do it.
Yeah. The Jury Murder Trial, which I think is one where they put like a jury in and they replay an actual life previous case, and then it's a case of, are they going to...
I'm got confused with all of these jury ones.
Yes.
There isn't there an American one where they put a real person in a fake
Yes.
jury?
Well, they've just had a follow-up to that one where they employ a guy in a fake company and go on a business retreat for 2 weeks.
What category is this again?
Best
reality TV.
Yeah, best reality. Yeah.
Reality. I'm not on board with reality.
Yeah. The Jury Murder Trial, Squid Game The Challenge, Virgin Island, which... It's not the Richard Branson one, unfortunately. It would have been a slightly more interesting show. And then The Celebrity Traitors, which the BBC have hit gold with Alan Carr just being the most obvious traitor of all time, and oblivious celebrities going, I wonder who's murdering us all. Well, Alan Carr's going, I'm the murderer!
I can't imagine Alan Carr doing subtlety.
No.
I just want to do a couple of the others, and then we'll go through. Best daytime. Apparently that's a category. So we have The Chase, Lorraine, Richard Osman's House of Games, and Scam Interceptors.
Look, I'm okay with The Chase being there just because it results in Bradley Walsh just laughing at really stupid questions.
Yeah. Which one do you think's the winner out of those?
I don't know.
I can see it. I'm like shocked.
Apparently it's Scam Interceptors.
Okay.
Whatever that is.
I'm hoping that's the one that comes on after the news
Yes.
at 9:30, and it's Gloria Hunniford, Angela Rippon, and a couple of other people going, somebody's got scammed. We're going to track them down.
You just got Angela Rippon sliding over a car bonnet.
Yeah, it might not be that show. I'm sure there's another one that comes on after the news on BBC every day.
Apparently it's about internet fraud.
Okay. Just one show.
Starring Jim Browning and presented by Rav Wilding, Nick Stapleton.
Well, I got confused. I'd recommend the one with Angela Rippon and Gloria Hunniford.
Yes. Best children's scripted. So we've got Horrible Science, which I believe is a Horrible Histories kind of follow-up.
I read some of those books when I was a kid.
Yeah. Shaun the Sheep. Cool. The Wonderful Weird of Gumball, which didn't win, because what won was Crongton.
What?
Which is only available on iPlayer according to the...
Wow, the fact that Gumball didn't win, coming back after so many years, much like the regular show, has now come back with lost tapes.
Yes. BAFTA Fellowship was Mary Berry.
Fairs.
For many decades of producing cake.
Mel and Sue to present that award, which was cute.
Special award was Martin Lewis for his money-saving expertise.
I love Martin Lewis.
Yeah.
Yes.
Can't argue with that.
Do you want to quickly go through the best actors and actresses?
We know who they all are.
So best actor was Stephen Graham as Angry Scouser in Adolescence.
Rightly so.
Yes. Matt Smith, Bunny Munro, James Nelson Joyce, The City is Ours, Ellis Howard, What It Feels Like for a Girl, Colin Firth, Lockerbie, A Search for the Truth, and Taron Egerton, Smoke were the runners-up in that one. Best Actress, Nargis Rashidi as Nazanin Zaghari Ratcliffe, Prisoner 951. No. Nominees were Sean Brooke as Constable Grace Ellis in Blue Lights, Erin Doherty from 1,000 Blows, Sheridan Smith, I Fought the Law, Jodie Whittaker, Toxic Town, Amy Lou Wood in Film Club. Not Fight Club, Film Club.
What on earth are we watching? Because we're not watching any of these shows.
So Best Supporting Actor was Erin Cooper, again for Adolescence, that should be expected. Runners-up were Fahenti Balogun in Down Cemetery Road, Paddy Considine in Mobland, Raphael Mathé in The Death of Bunny Munro, Josh Maguire in The Gold, Ashley Walters in Adolescence as well. Best Supporting Actress was Christine Tremarco from Adolescence. Runners-up were Rose Ailing Ellis from Reunion, Erin Doherty from Adolescence, Amelia Jones from Task, China McQueen from Get Millie Back, Amy Lou Wood from The White Lotus. And then we've got comedy performances. So Stephen Coogan won for Alan Partridge. Is it even a performance anymore? It's just, I'm Alan Partridge now. It's just him personally. I think he just goes home, like just phases into being Alan Partridge or not. Follow-ups were runner-ups were Jim Howick in Here We Go, John Pointing from Big Boys, Moan Rizwan from Juice, Lenny Rush in I Being Unreasonable, Oliver Saville as young Alan Carr in Changing Ends, which is kind of a semi-documentary series. Best female comedy, Catherine Parkinson, you'll probably know best from IT Crowd. Or what was that? Mr. Selfridge show. She was in that as well.
Wasn't it called Mr. Selfridge?
It's probably called Mr. Selfridge. But she was for Here We Go. Philippa Dunn, runner of Amandaland, Rosie Jones for Pushers, Diane Morgan for Mandy, Lucy Punch for Amandaland, and Jennifer Saunders for Amandaland. So quite a few nominations that one. And last two we were going to cover off for today. Bob Mortimer, Best Entertainment Performance, Last One Laughing, no big surprise there. Follow-ups were Rob Beckett and Ramesh Ranganathan for Rob and Ramesh, Alan Carr and Amanda Holden for Amanda and Alan's Spanish Job, which basically just seems to be an excuse for them to just go to Spain and drink wine on holiday.
and why not?
Yeah, Lee Mack for 1% Club, Ramesh Ranganathan again for Ramesh Can't Knock the Hustle on Sky Max, and Claudia Winkelmann for Celebrity Traitors. And there we go.
Wow.
So
I'm surprised at
we
how
don't
much...
watch TV, is apparently his
But that seems so weird because I watch TV all the time, literally. I get home at night and I watch a load of TV. I think it's because I don't watch a lot of British shows.
TV.
I do watch British shows because unless next year BAFTA, listen to me now, Mackenzie Crook is in half a dozen of these categories. We'll be having words.
But pretty much most of my TV is probably the news and Taskmaster.
Yeah. There are a few good shows.
I mean, to be fair, the BAFTAs obviously have to have different categories for the different genres and stuff, and like we don't watch particularly soaps or reality TV or daytime TV, so there's inevitably going to be a whole load of stuff that we don't know about. But
I mean, it's cool that it gets recognised.
Absolutely.
So there's a lot of work goes into these shows, regardless of whether we watch them or not. You know, it's a lot. It takes a lot to make a TV show.
That's what I always think about soaps. I'm not particularly into them, but you have to respect the fact that they are writing scripts.
I mean, the fact that they
on a practically daily basis.
One of the big things as well with soaps is it's actually a really good way of writers getting into the industry. Because a lot of writers do start by going into soaps and then.
It's same for behind the scenes. You know, technical staff and stuff getting into
because they need so many people. Because there's so many episodes.
But I think that's why it was such a big shock for the Birmingham TV industry when Doctors got cancelled, because so many people and so many actors started off in there. I mean, you got people like what's his face. Guy from the Harry Potter spin-off, he started off from Doctors in a couple of episodes, and you got loads of actresses. Lady played Ginner, so I think pretty much Doctors and Casualties.
It's also very funny to me that popular video game actor Ben Starr was also in an episode of Doctors as well. which is very, very funny because he goes from Doctors to Final Fantasy 16.
And I am friends with a guy who's been in Doctors several times, several characters, mostly bad characters. But I'm also glad as well that it's not dominated by streaming stuff. There was a lot of kind of like, free to air, ITV, Channel 4, BBC stuff.
Yeah.
So it's good.
Yeah, I mean, it was nice to see Stephen Knight got a nomination for 1,000 Blows, which, again, I think separate from Peaky Blinders, which just kind of dominate Birmingham TV industry, but with his new studio and things like that, it would be nice to see a resurgence in more locally made TV and film in Birmingham.
Pebble Mill at 1, folks.
Yeah.
That's what we need back.
Baby, baby, baby.
But anyway, congratulations to all the winners and all the nominees.
Yes.
Your work is much appreciated. So yeah, we salute you all.
Yep. As you're probably aware, it's a regular feature on Geeky Brummie that will pick some trailers of upcoming summer/autumn films and judge them based purely on the trailer and what's coming up. So the first one we're going to look, which was one of your picks, Keith, which is Wildwood, which is the 6th feature film from Lycra Studios, directed by Travis Knight, who you might know from Bumblebee and Kubo and the Two Strings. Written by Chris Butler, based on the Colin Malloy and Carson Ellis novel from 2011. Big voice cast in this one: Peyton Elizabeth Lee, Jacob Tremblay, Kerry Mulligan, Richard E. Grant, Awkwafina, Amanda Steinberg, Tom Waits, Charlie Day, Blythe Danner, Arthur Knight, Maya Erskine, Jake Johnson, Tantu Cardinal, Rob Delaney, Jermaine Clement, Mark Evan Johnson, Len Cariou, Oliver, Darry Olafson, Angela Bassett, and Marsha Charlotte Ellie.
So what I love about Lycra is that they are probably one of the few arguments in favour of Nepo babies. Yeah. Because the only reason that studio exists is because the CEO of Nike just keeps giving his son money. And I'm okay with that.
It's money well spent as far as I'm concerned.
Because that's what I want rich people to spend money on, is actual art.
Yeah.
So there we go.
Yeah, and Dario Marianelli is doing the score. So he's previously done The Box Trolls and Kubo and the Two Strings, and it's his 3rd collaboration with Knight, because he did Kubo and Bumblebee with him as well. So what do we think?
I can't wait for this. It looks so beautiful. And the trailer came out this week, but prior to that, we've had a few kind of making of featurettes. And I do really like that they released those before the trailer, because it really kind of brings home the ridiculous amount of work that goes into making these films. And like stuff like Wallace and Gromit, enough work goes into that, and that's just a couple of characters normally on screen at a time. There's a bit where there's a whole army charging down a hill, which you can imagine the animators looking at the storyboard and just thinking, oh God.
So it's 231 practical puppets across 136 sets, which is an insane amount of work, as you said.
Yes.
And from what I understand, there's been a lot of sort of collaborators on it doing individual bits of it, because I follow the game developer Mike Bithell on Blue Sky, and he said that apparently his wife made the hands, and that's basically all she did. So it's like, okay.
Yeah. But they've used a lot of 3D printing on this to get through the volume of stuff, which shows the development of technology.
It's a process they've been using for quite a few years. Kind of started with them in Paranorman. They started doing what was rapid prototyping, so they could just change the faces quite quickly, so they'd have a whole table. So I think Wildwood was announced probably 6 years ago, went into production 5. And again, it's Lycra just going, okay, we did the massive skeleton fight in Kubo, we've done all of these things, and they've gone, yeah, let's do birds and feathers, and we'll animate those, and we'll animate every single feather like individually. Yeah. But again, like Sam was saying, what's beautiful about Lycra is they foreground the artists. And what I do like is that often in the post-credit scenes of a Lycra movie, you'll see the artist doing it. And in Box Trolls, if you haven't seen Box Trolls, wait for the end credit sequence on Box Trolls, because there's a beautiful moment where it kind of transcends what it is.
A lot of fourth wall breaking in that final.
But it looks stunningly gorgeous. It just looks incredible.
And I'm always just a big fan of stop motion stuff in general. I just like how it looks and moves, and obviously, as we're saying, the amount of work that goes into it, that's just phenomenal.
I mean, what do we think from a kind of what plot we saw in the trailer? It feels very Labyrinth.
Yeah, I was thinking Labyrinth.
Yeah.
A less sexy Labyrinth.
Yeah. No Bowie, unfortunately.
Yeah, exactly.
But yeah.
Yeah, but there's always a nice kind of sense of melancholy sometimes in a like a film. I mean, their first thing they did was Coraline.
Yeah.
Which
was surprising that that's the one they called out in the trailer from the creators of Coraline. It's like they've done so much amazing work since then.
But it's the big hit, though, isn't it?
Yeah, it's a similar sort of based on a fantasy.
Yeah,
but it's because it's based on a book
fantasy
again,
novel.
the same as this one. Whereas, I mean, Paranorman was a fantastically brilliant film, and everybody should watch it. Box Trolls was phenomenal as well. Kubo and the Two Strings was
one of the greatest soundtracks ever.
That was amazing. And I still like Missing Link. I think it was a stumble for the studio that it didn't really connect with the audiences as much. But there was a lot going on in that film that I liked in terms of the animation and the stylistic. Mm-hmm. They kind of went with a more stylized look, whereas this one, they're kind of pulling it back a little bit into a kind of more realistic.
I was going to say it's based around Portland, Oregon, which is where the studio is based. So I imagine that was really handy for reference. But it's that kind of Pacific Northwest, which we haven't really had from them before. I don't think it's kind of more realistic. As you said,
I'm a big fan of the Pacific Northwest, especially when it gets weird.
Yeah, I'm just sad that it's like October feels like a long time away. Mm-hmm. But I'm fully on board for this one.
Yeah, and again, Travis Knight done some good stuff. Kubo and the Two Strings. Bumblebee is probably one of the highlights of the Transformers.
And he's also got He-Man coming out as well,
Yep.
Masters of the Universe. Mm-hmm. So he's got that, and he has done the best Transformers movie.
Yes.
So
this is where I'm glad that Keith and Sam are on separate tables. So moving on to our next
I'm in the middle.
it's not that bad. It's not that bad.
No. So it's going to be Christopher Nolan's 13th film that he's directed, which is the Odyssey, epic fantasy action film, adaptation of Homer's, of course, ancient Greek epic, the Odyssey, with Matt Damon as Odysseus, the king of Ithaca. Massive cast. Anne Hathaway's playing Penelope, Tom Holland's playing their son, Robert Pattinson, Lupita Nyong'o, Zendaya, Charlize Theron. Big old cast, and it's Nolan and his wife producing through their production company Syncope, and he's also written this one as well. No Jonathan Nolan this time, so it's just Christopher writing it.
I like with his brother.
Yeah. Well, he's not doing Westworld anymore, so you'd think he'd be free. But
it kind of fits into the whole Greek tragedy kind of thing of brothers falling out.
Yeah.
So
yeah.
Well, usually in Greek tragedies, the one brother ends up killing the other.
Well, has anybody seen Jonathan since?
Well,
so let's not go down that rabbit hole.
But for a sunny Mediterranean location, they've gone to quite a few places. I think they've done a lot of practical filming in Iceland and Malta and places like that. But it's kind of very dark tone and it feels very wintry.
But historically speaking, we don't know that it was all sunny back then. It could have been who knows?
It's a 10-year journey. It's like there's going to be different climates.
They just picked all the stormy days to put in the trailer. That was what it is.
And just imagine it's like this boat must be like as slow as a canal boat. It takes 10 years to get around it.
The idea is he gets diverted off course. He goes way off.
Places.
So I don't have a problem with the different locations because it's a fantasy. But I'm again very much looking forward to this. I've always loved Greek mythology. I think Christopher Nolan is very good at kind of big event blockbusters, which is what the Odyssey should be. Mm-hmm. And one problem that I often have with adaptations of Greek myths is they'll try and rationalise it and say, it was a guy with really good armour, but and shaped like a lion. And over time, this grew into a myth about a lion whose hide couldn't be penetrated by any weapon. And no, give me a proper lion. And it looks like he is properly going for actually telling the Greek myth and taking the fantasy element.
We get a Cyclops in the trailer for a brief second with his vertical eye, which looks slightly disturbing to be fair.
Yes.
And then the giant suits of armour fighting Odysseus and his crew.
Yeah, and Charybdis, the big whirlpool. So I'm absolutely all for all of that. I like as well, they seem to have, although they are doing all of that, which is great, they are also giving a good amount of screen time to Penelope and Telemachus back at Ithaca, and the plot going on there.
Yeah.
So they're not sort of sidelining that, because that is the more kind of human, character-driven element of the story, and they're not sidelining that in favour of the big kind of visual spectacle. So I think it looks great.
This is going to be our second Robert Pattinson as a bit of a git film in that period of time, because June comes out similar kind of, well, the same year, so that's more October time, but yeah. Robert Pattinson as a baddie is in this one.
Yeah, and he does look like a proper kind of hissable villain.
Yes. I mean, Keith, you should be happy because Hans Zimmer isn't doing the soundtrack for this one, so Ludwig Göransson, I believe, is the soundtrack choice.
The last thing Nolan did was Gorin as well, which is fine. I mean, it looks okay. I mean, I'm of an age where my connection to this story was it being wheeled in on a radio when in primary school, and listening to it.
Say I was there at the time.
I mean, I was also there.
We were sat around a campfire.
And the audio version, and then the kind of Harryhausen.
All right, Elrond, I was there 3,000 years ago.
The grey means something, folks. And then the kind of Harryhausen kind of stuff, which did not shy away from the idea of giant statues that came alive. Not necessarily the Odyssey as such, but
I
the
wouldn't mind
adjacent
seeing Talos,
stuff.
which they purposely kept out of the trailer, I think.
They sort of, I think you glimpse
just
the
got-
top of his head over some trees. Yeah,
I think if they lean into the story and don't think, we've got to ground this in a way that modern audiences can relate to and all that other stuff. It's like it's a fantasy story. Tell the fantasy story. Whether Nolan can get over his problems with writing female characters again is another thing.
Anne
but
Hathaway as Penelope. Penelope is a very strong character in the original epic. I mean, she's got all these suitors in her palace, which she can't get rid of because of the obligation of being a host, but trying to find ways of doing the old tapestry and picking it every night as in the Greek myth. So
I mean, there's moments in the trailer that you just go, that could be cool.
Yeah.
That could be cool. I mean, I recently bought Excalibur, John Borman's kind of thing, and if it kind of leans into that kind of slightly like, let's just be a bit odd and a bit weird and stuff, and it's like, it could be interesting.
I mean, we know Matt Damon's good in the suit of armour. He was all right in The Last Duel, and again, this joins that pantheon of Matt Damon is lost category of films, which we seem to be having quite a lot of.
Yeah. I mean, I'm cool on Nolan as a director and stuff, but this is a story that I've got a lot of history with, and so.
I know, yeah.
Again, it's going to be one of those ones where I'm going to be taking a lot of baggage in with me, and
I was going to say it's one of those myths that's been reinterpreted so many times. So it'd be interesting to see what the history.
It'll be a spectacle regardless of anything else. So,
Although I am disappointed there's not enough New Donk City in it.
I did like the trailer finishes, which shot entirely on IMAX cameras. It's like,
Okay, good. Well done.
Yeah, so it's an IMAX film. by
Yeah.
any chance,
I'm still not going to watch it in IMAX. I'm not going to watch it at all, but to be fair, but
I do like Matt Damon's battle cry of "Let's go!" It's like,
Yeah, I've seen a lot of people on the internet getting upset about him doing an American accent and all the rest of it, but I'd probably prefer that to
Do you want
Matt
him to
Damon
do a
trying
Greek
to do a
accent?
Greek accent. Yeah, exactly.
everyone just
should
putting
have
on
been
terrible
all in Greek with subtitles.
Do you want him to call you boss and like serve a kebab?
They should all be smashing plates all of the time.
Right, time to
You are
talk about-
bad.
Any other Greek stereotypes?
It's just. Although what would be good is I have heard the rumour that Harry Enfield will make a small cameo appearance in the film at some point.
Hello, hips. Right, moving on to our final trailer.
Moving
of this-
quickly onto the...
Moving on to our final trailer of this segment. Stuart fails to save the universe. So this is a Big Bang Theory spin-off, the fourth television series in the Big Bang franchise. When did this become a franchise, by the way? So you had Young Sheldon.
When Bazinga became merchandisable, that's when it became a...
So you had the Big Bang Theory, which then spun off into Young Sheldon, which then span off into George and Mandy's First Marriage, which was the spin-off of the Young Sheldon, but this is the first direct spin-off of the Big Bang Theory, if that makes sense. Created by Chuck Lorre, Zach Penn and Bill Prady. Kevin Sussman as Stuart Bloom, Brian Posehn as Bert Kibler, Lauren Lapkus as Denise, John Ross Bowie is back as Kripke, listed as both Barry Kripke and Supreme Ruler Barry Kripke. Ryan Cartwright as Carl, Josh Brenner as Trevor, Tommy Walker as Gary.
Gary.
I'm going to go first on this because I'd heard about this show. It's been kind of percolating around for quite a few years now.
Yeah.
And I was a bit like, because Stuart in the original show was just such a shockingly bad stereotype. She was just like, this is just shocking and insulting to everybody. But then I've seen this trailer. I've seen the comic cover they did, which was quite cool. I kind of like that. And then I saw this trailer and I went, yeah, okay, I'm going to watch this. This looks fine. It's like stupid kind of like...
well, it's a multiverse story with like a post-apocalyptic alternate version of Pasadena in California.
And I did like the bit, there's a clip where he's carrying a box around, which looks like a kind of bit from Blake 7 when they carry your rack around. Yeah. And I kind of like, yeah, if this is kind of silly and stupid and just like, let's be ridiculous, it's kind of like, I could be on board. And it's only ridiculous. I think it's only 9 episodes. It seems to be the thing now with shows. It's like, we'll do 9. And it's like, that's it.
It's just a frankly bizarre concept of what were they smoking in the room when they come up with, yes, we want to do another Big Bang series, but let's say it in a multiversal apocalypse, and Stuart, the comic book character who everybody really didn't like that much in the Big Bang Theory because he was such a sap and such a miserable git, we're going to make him the lead.
But it's got an in-universe explanation that Stuart interferes with an experiment that Sheldon and the other geezer
who
who's married to Penny,
who appear in cartoon form only.
Yeah, he messes up with an experiment which causes a fracture in the universe.
I assume there will be some kind of cameos at some point, regardless. It's kind of probably expected.
Alternative versions of Sheldon Cooper. Yeah. But it could be fun.
It's a wild enough concept that it's got me slightly intrigued.
Although I do like the fact that it says Stuart fails to save the universe. Yeah. So it's like,
as we were saying off air a bit before, the first couple of series of Big Bang Theory had some really strong writing and some really good character development before every single character in it got flanderized to death. So,
did any of you see a show called Future Man? No. It had the geezer that was in Thunder Games? Hunger Games.
Thunder Games sounds pretty cool, to be honest. Let's start.
Hunger Games in the Thunderdome.
And that had a similar thing of like a guy, people bring somebody from the past to the future to save the universe and kind of stuff. And that was a fun kind of thing, but that was a little more risque than this one.
It's one of those wait and watch, I think. Well, I think it's one of those shows that's going to really depend on how strong the writing is in the first 2 or 3
And we've seen the Big Bang Theory, and
Zach Penn's involved in the writing on this one, so it could be something.
Yeah,
I think I'm in for at least the first episode, and we'll see.
Cool. Yeah. Right. Back with some more trailers shortly.
Hi, my name's Tony from the Wine Events Company, and we specialise in pairing wine with classic movies. Today it's 1980 Flash Gordon with wine, and we're on Planet Mongo, and we've liberated wines from Ming's cellar. I'm going to be Flash Gordon to start off with, but there's going to be some more dressing up. We do all kinds of movies, but they're all great. They're all great fun, and they're classic. Might be Mamma Mia, Pulp Fiction, Dirty Dancing, even the whole Lord of the Rings trilogy, although not all on the same night. Cool. On a typical event, you come in, grab a seat, we'll give you your first drink. You start watching the movie, and just as you're getting into it, we turn the lights on, take you out of the movie for a moment, but we make up for it by giving you your next glass of themed wine. We do a bit of movie trivia, we have a bit of fun, a few shenanigans, lots of dressing up, lots of different characters presenting the wine. And it's a great immersive movie with wine experience. So you can find us right here in Digbeth at Mockingbird Cinema, perhaps in Brindley Place at the Crescent Theatre, in Solihull at the Core, the Theatre Chipping Norton, the Hub at St Mary's in Lichfield, which is an old converted church, loads of fantastic venues right here in the Midlands. If you want to find out more about upcoming events, check us out on our socials, Instagram, X and Facebook by looking for @TheWineEventsCo or our website, www.thewineeventscompany.com. You can find out all the information there. There's an explainer video, all the booking links, and we'd love to see you soon.
So we're going to start this bit of trailer talk off with a film that died and now has been resurrected. which is kind of properly appropriate to one of the main characters in the film. But Coyote versus ACME. So originally started development in 2018. Directed by Dave Green, written by Sammy Birch and James Gunn and Jeremy Slater. Based on a 1990 New Yorker magazine article, Coyote versus ACME, which I didn't really believe. I didn't understand there was an article first.
I think I may have seen it, and I think it is basically just like a satirical article thing that someone put into whatever it was.
Well, basically, Wile E. Coyote is suing the ACME Corporation for the amount of rubbish crap that they send in through the post. Quite a strong cast: Will Forte, Lana Condor, Tone Bell, John Cena.
Wile E. Coyote, Bugs Bunny, Daffy Duck.
Foghorn Leghorn.
Yes.
Yeah, so it got shelved in November 2023 as part of this whole Warner Brothers Discovery merger, which kind of decimated their animated portfolio. So it got cancelled, I think, at the same time as Batgirl got cancelled.
When they tanked Batgirl.
Yeah, there's a tax write-off, and then many negotiations later, and Ketchup Entertainment acquired the rights to re-release the film, along with The Day the Earth Blew Up.
Yeah, which I saw earlier this year, which is cool.
Yeah. So, I'm going to say it's been in development hell for quite a while. Well, it was ready to go, basically.
Well, it was all made and done. It was fixed. It should have been released years ago.
Yes, but looks a fun concept. I mean, it's got a very strong.
I am genuinely excited for this one.
Yes.
I've always loved the Looney Tunes, and you know, the sort of one of my favourite films of all time is Roger Rabbit, and this has the same sort of energy. I was going to say,
it's got a really strong Roger Rabbit vibe, more than a Space Jam-y vibe.
And also just the concept of it is just great, of just, you know, the ACME Corporation getting sued.
Yeah.
And like just seeing the trailers, and John Cena is clearly having a great time being like the evil CEO.
I think he's the evil lawyer, and Foghorn Leghorn's the CEO, maybe.
My big takeaway from the trailer is how scary Foghorn Leghorn can be when they want to make it.
Well, it's got that southern accent with a golf club.
He's always been that kind of like, well, I say, boy. It's like, yep.
Yeah. But I was going to say, it's one of those things that you always feel slightly sad for Wile E. Coyote, even though his plan is to kill another creature.
He's unfortunately, Wiley's one of my kind of cartoon heroes because of that whole thing.
His determination, he never gives up.
Gives up, man.
But yeah, I mean, it's kind of fun to see a film like this back in the cinema. It's been a while since we've had that live action cartoon crossover. We'll ignore Space Jam, the reboot, because everybody ignores Space Jam, the reboot. But yeah.
But the original Space Jam is like bad, but in a way that's enjoyable.
Yes.
It's silly. Yeah, it's silly.
Yeah.
But I mean,
we don't want to talk about the second one.
I mean, I watched this trailer and went, yep, that's my film of the year.
Yep.
Straight away.
Yeah.
Glorious.
So moving on swiftly to a film which is definitely not going to be your film of the year because you hate the director.
No. That's a little harsh. He's only done like 2 previous films, both of which I thought went, they were okay, and then wildly went, yeah, who cares? Yeah. And logic went out the window.
So it's Resident Evil, the upcoming horror film from Zach Kreger, creator of Barbarian and Weapons. He was also co-written the screenplay with Shay Hatton. Second reboot of the Resident Evil franchise. There was a film after the Mila Jovovich ones, which nobody bothered to watch apparently. So this is them rebooting it again.
Are we talking the animated ones, or are we
I
talking
think it was Return to Raccoon City. It was a live action one.
The only other ones I knew outside of like the...
Yeah. It starred Robbie Amell, who you might have seen in all like the Arrowverse stuff. He's, he was in.
It's not that bad.
Yeah.
It's not that bad.
I just never heard of it. I know of like things like Death
I think
Island.
I think it's on Netflix.
Yeah.
I think, but it's all right. It's Resident Evil-y.
Yeah.
It feels Resident Evil.
So it's campy.
Yeah. So it's actually based around Raccoon City, and not like this film, which seems to be based in Fargo.
It clearly has something to do with the game.
Yeah.
So quickly to recap it, film set in during the film is set during the events of Resident Evil 2. We all watched the trailer and went, how so?
Yeah. It's a weird one because it is like set during. He's saying that, but at the same time it's snowing, and it wasn't snowing in Resident Evil 2. And even if we make the argument of like, oh, it's in the mountains, it's in the Arklay Mountains and stuff, and it's like, yeah, but the Spencer Mansion is in the Arklay Mountains, and it wasn't snowing there either in Resident Evil 1, and that was around the same time.
And he runs down a street with a load of high-rise buildings and loads of cars and stuff.
Yeah.
And it's like, okay.
But yeah, it follows Austin Abrams playing Brian, a medical courier who is caught during the viral outbreak of infected monsters and had to fight for his survival. So we do see a bit of him at some kind of deserted farmhouse, and then a bit of him in a drain with a rather fat man who's naked.
I mean, that checks out for Resident Evil, honestly.
Yeah.
But, you know.
You see, I'm more interested in the idea of what the heck's a medical courier? What's he currying? And where's he currying from and to?
I'm assuming he's probably got something horrible that is taken to the Umbrella Corporation.
That's the giveaway. His
so-
little messenger packet. It's
Maybe
got,
imagine
it's
the-
got the Umbrella Corporation logo on it.
Maybe
Gotta
he's got some
remember, Keith,
T-vibes.
there's a lot of like things that need to be transported medically that require special treatment in transport.
But it's not going to be some rando on a bike that you're going to
Maybe he's
transport
got a
your
couple of
stuff.
vials of T-virus in the back
Yeah.
of his car.
Just in his little haversack on the
Yeah.
back of his thing. He gets to the hospital on his bike and they just hand it over.
Yep. And then that's the end of the film. It's like, here you go, I'm done now.
And then Resident Evil 2 happens.
Yeah.
Yes. But I mean, I can say Zach Cregger has a good critical reception for his two. I know you're not
for
a
most
fan.
of
I'm
us,
not a fan.
Yeah,
Yes.
sorry, Keith, but
Sorry.
like, I enjoyed Weapons.
Yes, I enjoyed Barbarian, which is probably his less regarded but better film in my opinion. I'd say Barbarian's better one out of the two.
I've just not seen Barbarian, but
I very much enjoyed both of them, and I am looking forward to this. as well.
like-
I'm fully expecting the first half of the film to be like, okay, this is interesting, and the second half goes, yeah, whatever.
like I'm curious about it just because I did enjoy Weapons, and I think like that's the fact that it sort of does get a bit ridiculous towards the end is very Resident Evil anyway.
Barbarian gets more ridiculous towards the end.
And I think because of that, I think it might work, and I think I'm curious to see how it connects to the Resident Evil universe. But
Yeah, I was going to say,
even if it doesn't connect that well, I think it could still be a good time.
I mean, you look at the Resident Evil games and they go from what is pretty much a straightforward locked room horror mystery for the first game to the latest game, which has...
I'm going to talk about this later.
Yes, but it has a motorcycle chase through a ruined city while somebody just randomly fires RPGs off like every 30 seconds.
Yeah, I'm going to go into this later.
I'm fully expecting there to be a post-credit scene where like this medical courier's there, all kind of huffing and puffing with like no weapons left, and some recognisable character or the silhouette will step in and go,
It'll be Albert
I'm gonna help
Wesker.
you.
It'll be Albert Wesker putting shades on.
all right, if that happens,
Played
I'm
by
on-
Carl Urban with a blonde hairdo.
See, now you're going to make me go and see this film, because if that happens, I'm on board.
Yes.
Okay.
Cool. Right, next film along, Practical Magic 2, Witchy Boogaloo.
The official title, folks.
So it's 28 years since the original film. So, yeah, the original film came out in 1998, starring Sandra Bullock, Nicole Kidman, Stockard Channing, Diane West. They're all back for this one, so it's reprising their roles in the previous film, but some new cast members including Jerry King, Maisie Williams, Lee Pace, and Zolo Mariduena, who was the Blue Beetle, and he did a really good job as the Blue Beetle, which is the one thing that I wish they'd kept from the DC universe.
And Cobra Kai, of course.
Yeah. So, set 25 years after the events of the first film, follows the Owens family, who are like suspected to be witches in the area. But the first film, basically, anybody, the two daughters who were in the original film, Sandra Bullock, Nicole Kidman, if they fall in love with somebody, something unpleasant usually happens to them, to the state of they're no longer breathing. So, yeah, so this kind of follows that generation going down. So, Sally's daughter, who's played by Jerry King, and follows the abilities, the multi-generational witches thing. And I appreciate Sam Lee, probably not seen the original film. I mean, 1998. It does have an amazing 1998 vibe trailer to watch. But yeah.
Like, I genuinely have never heard of the original film.
I mean, what do we think though? I mean, does it tempt you to go back and watch it? It's kind of mysterious, kind of, again, Pacific Northwest feel to it.
I'm not sure. I'm kind of tempted to go to the cinema to see it. I mean, Practical Magic is a hugely popular film. It's got a massive fan base, but a lot of people kind of have a lot of really kind of like fondness for it. And I kind of like, if they can do the legacy sequel like they've done with Top Gun, like they've done with like Tron or whatever it is,
Even
it could be really good.
Ghostbusters Afterlife to a certain
Yeah.
extent.
So it could be really interesting. Both like Bullock and Kidman look great still, and I think they've got
My
a lot of talent.
compliments
They
to
can
their
bring it.
surgeon.
The supporting cast look like they they can do something interesting with it.
Yeah, I mean,
so it could be a lot of fun.
I mean, Stockard Channing, Diane West, great supporting actresses, and I think some really good casting for the new one. Joey King is probably on quite a bit of a rise to stardom at the moment. She's done a lot of good films. Maisie Williams, of course, everybody knows from Game of Thrones.
I think as long as it's better than the Hocus Pocus revival, we're on to a winner. I think it's a film that will do well.
Yeah, it's got a cult following.
It's got a cult following. I think it's kind of cool. I might be tempted to go to the flicks if it's a weekend where it's a little bit quieter and there's not an awful lot else out. I might go just for that kind of nostalgic vibe. And I did have a thing for Sandra Bullock in the day as well. So
not anymore, though.
Good old
she's not in an awful lot of stuff nowadays.
Good old Sandy Bullock.
Yep.
But I was wondering why there was such a big gap, but this is based on a 2021 follow-up novel to the original novel by Alice Hoffman. So that's why it's taken so long to get this kind of sequel made.
Yeah.
So it looks all right.
Got potential.
Bit of Lee Pace as well. I'm always happy to see Lee Pace on the screen. He doesn't get enough stuff. We'll not talk about Foundation. Final trailer that we've looked at for this one, Jackass Best and Last. Right, I appreciate this is a bit of a weird trailer for us because it's not something we'd usually cover, but I thought it was looking at because pretty much 25 years on from Jackass starting off, I think 2001 October.
Just don't say how long ago it was because that's just making everybody feel old.
I did watch the original Jackass series, but that's because I was a teenager and therefore an idiot. And exactly the target audience for Jackass at the time, to be fair. But I'm just fascinated by the fact that they're all so much older in the trailer. It's very noticeable, especially Johnny Knoxville with his just shocking white.
Just white hair.
And then, but I'm just thinking doing all those stunts now.
As old men.
That's just going to ruin everything.
So it's described as a reality slapstick comedy film, which is an interesting choice there from Wikipedia. Directed by Jeff Tremaine, who's pretty much done most of the thing, pretty much 90% of the Jackass stuff. Produced by Tremaine, Spike Jonze, Johnny Knoxville. It's going to be the final instalment of Jackass in the films.
After this, doing this one, their knees are just giving out. Let's be honest.
So what they're going to do is have some old footage, some new footage, a bit of talking heads, bringing back some of the biggest stunts from the entire franchise run, and then put a few brand new ones in as well.
And then it's going to end with them all just in hospital.
Some never.
I don't think that's going to stop them, no. I don't think this will be the last thing they ever do.
I mean, weirdly, I enjoy watching them in a kind of perverse kind of.
I mean, that's kind of the idea behind it.
It's legalised sadism.
Yeah,
really. I mean, I was probably a little bit too old when the first series came out because I was in my 30s at that point, and I did watch the occasional one because you just went, "How stupid can these people be?" And you go, "Yeah, pretty stupid."
But it encapsulated that kind of weird time where people got access to cameras and were doing these home films, and it was kind of that early kind of. Let's just go out and make something stupid.
Yeah, well, I loved it in a sense because it kind of took the kind of comedy slapstick stuff. Yeah. So I like things like, Bottom, Dangerous Brothers, with the pretend getting whacked in the nuts with a cricket bat. And then these guys just actually whacked each other in the nuts with a cricket bat. Yeah. And that kind of stuff, like swearing, is infinitely funny.
Yeah.
And you can't not laugh at somebody getting punched in the ghoulies. Yeah. So,
and I think part of the charm is they all know what they've signed themselves up for, and they all fully go into it with 2 feet, even though they know they're going to get hurt quite badly.
I think the thing is now is looking at them doing it when they're in their 50s and 60s, and you're just going, no, man. I can fully relate to that. You just go, no, just not. No.
You've got a nice comfy armchair at home.
It's like, what are you doing?
I mean, the premise of this one is they're going to do the world's worst escape room. Sounds quite weirdly fun to kind of bring it up to that modern audience. And the bit in the trailer with the robot and the digit.
No, just even the idea of that is bad. Yeah. Although I do like the bit where it flicks backwards and catches Johnny in the. So that's funny.
I mean, it just reminds me of a simpler time when this was like MTV at its peak heyday. It was this Pimp My Ride and kind of that house show where they basically just went around and saw that people had copies of Scarface on DVD and everybody's house.
Cribs.
Yeah, Cribs. But yeah,
it was a show that everybody watched, wasn't it?
Yeah. And it was probably impersonated intimated by lots of teenagers at the time.
Yeah. I kind of like the idea that you watch it being done to other people and it's not you that's having it done to you. So that's nice. I'm quite happy for Steve-O and Johnny to undergo this.
There's a little bit of kind of like that scientific intrigue of what would happen if you punched somebody in the balls with a cannon.
Oh, it would hurt a lot. Okay.
Let's not do that.
Now we know.
But it's that idea of going, do you think it would hurt? And you kind of go,
It's going to hurt, but how
Yes.
much is it going to hurt?
let's just check.
Yeah. I mean, I don't know. It's kind of, I think I'll be watching that on when it comes out on streaming, maybe. I don't think it's a cinematic experience, to be honest. But it's kind of nice to close the loop.
Yeah. I think it's one for the home because every so often you're going to have to pause it and just go, oh man, that's just, that must have hurt.
So let's go through and pick our favourite trailer. So to recap, we've got Wildwood, the Odyssey, which is not going to be Keith, Stuart Fails to Save the Universe, ACME versus Coyote, Resident Evil, Practical Magic 2, and Jackass Best and Last.
I'll go first. Mine's a tie, unfortunately.
No, you can only choose one.
No, I'm not.
We're strapping you to a cinema chair and you're allowed one film.
It's Wildwood, Coyote versus ACME.
No.
Pick one.
No, I can't.
One.
You've got to pick.
Okay, in which case then I will pick Wildwood.
Okay.
I will pick Wildwood. But you should go and watch ACME versus Coyote first.
Cool. Sam?
I'm also going Wildwood.
Lee?
I'm going Coyote versus ACME. So there we go.
That's fine. That's good.
No, I was going to be controversial, but yeah.
Be controversial.
No.
I can push you
Stuart
off the
fails
chair.
to save the universe.
Practical Magic 2.
I think it's got to be Wildwood
Yeah, of course it is.
because it just looks so beautifully made and it's just the pinnacle of Leica.
Yeah, it
Yeah,
looks like
Wildwood
something
does
special.
look great.
Yeah.
But I think I'm so excited for.
This is why it's a bit cruel you made me only pick one because,
But I'm just thinking like Kubo and the Two Strings is a film I really, really love and this comes to fill that little bit of vibe of magic and that experience. So that's why I'm going for this one. Though ACME versus Coyote does look fun. But I think as a cinematic experience, Wildwood will be the more cinematic out of the two.
Oh, yeah, I agree with that 100%.
Yeah. So if it was going to the cinema, I would say Wildwood. But
Wildwood for the art,
yes.
Coyote versus ACME for the fun.
Yes.
Yeah.
There you go.
Jackass for the lols.
It's a shame they're not both coming out at the same time and I could do both. Like
Double bill.
Double bill, yeah.
It's more like the Barbenheimer.
But both will be good
Yes.
instead of the one not being quite as good.
Oh, God.
Nothing will ever beat the experience of watching Barbie and hearing the bomb go off in Oppenheimer next door. And most of the audience in Barbie just giggling along because it's like, oh, they've got to that point of the film. But yeah, so our recommendation would probably be Wildwood, followed by ACME versus Coyote.
Yep.
That's our regular bits of where we choose the one geek thing that has been interesting us since the last recording, be it film, TV, video game, comic, or any kind of geeky pursuit or interest since our last one. So I'm going to start off this time with spoilers. Lee, who's probably picked Resident Evil 8.
Yes. No, Resident Evil 9.
9, sorry.
Yes, as I sort of alluded to in the trailer talk, I played through Resident Evil Requiem, which is just a phenomenal game. So what is great about this one is it kind of takes the entire series to date and mushes it into one big game. So obviously the first 3 Resident Evils are very sort of, you're going around a place, you're solving puzzles, it's very much about the survival thing. And then with Resident Evil 4, it moved into a more action-oriented thing for a few games. And then 7 and 8 were more veering back to the horror, but it was a slightly different flavor of horror, especially with like the first-person perspective. With Requiem, they've taken like the sort of original Resident Evil formula and the sort of 7 and Village formula and kind of combine those into Grace's gameplay. Mm-hmm. She is the newcomer for the series. She's like the daughter of a character from Resident Evil Outbreak, which is the online PS2 thing that barely anyone played. But her mom is in Requiem briefly. And then Leon shows up good old Leon S. Kennedy from Resident Evil 2 and 4, and basically his section is the action-oriented side of things, and they've managed to sort of combine both of those into one game, and it actually really works quite well. So the story behind this is you've got Grace, who is an FBI agent, although she is the most nervous FBI agent I've ever seen.
I think she's on day 1 or 2 of the job, basically.
She works a desk job at the FBI. She's an analyst who just sits on the computer and does all that. And then some boss is like, no, you need to go out into the field on your own to the hotel where your mother was murdered and do this thing. I'm just like, this feels like terrible FBI protocol. But then, like, she gets captured and she gets taken to like the this sort of care center,
asylum, basically.
Yes, and basically just has to survive in there. And then Leon shows up in the middle of all of this, just blasts zombies, drop kicks them in the face, and then drives his Porsche around. And then he goes into Raccoon City for his section of the game and sort of revisits the ruins of Raccoon City as it sort of returns to basically where everything went horribly wrong for him. But then his whole section is just like, you're dodging zombies who now have guns and can operate mortars, and you're again drop kicking everything and hatcheting everything in the face, and it's just like, it's such a contrast. You're running around as Grace, and it's just this. You're fighting for your life. You've got barely any ammo. You take very little damage, and then you switch to Leon, and you're just destroying everything in your path, and you're driving a motorcycle up the side of a building, and it's the most ridiculous thing in the world. But it manages to do both sides really, really well. And it manages to contrast them completely. Like, both of them have completely different UI and gameplay, despite, like, they feel similar at first. It's the same, similar sort of control scheme, but then you feel the difference between the two different characters. You know, Grace has got like 6 inventory slots and is like, you have to constantly manage that, whereas Leon's got the full attaché case from Resident Evil 4 again. And like, it was so ridiculous when I opened his inventory for the first time. And it was just like, after having this tiny little thing in the corner of the screen from Grace, and Leon just has this massive thing that fills the screen, and I'm just like, well, okay, I can see the difference. You know, in his section, enemies are dropping ammo constantly, and in Grace's section, it's like you're scrambling around trying to find crafting materials, and it's ridiculous, but it's such a fun experience, and it manages to sort of bring like the whole history of the series into like one big thing.
So I've heard like the Leon Kennedy bit's a bit like a palate cleanser at certain points. So you basically have the whole survival horror experience with Grace, and it gets really, really tense. Yeah. And then they'll throw in a Leon bit to give you a bit of a break. And
a lot of the Grace bits, it's better to sort of try and avoid direct combat, especially when you get like the big guys. Like there's one bit earlier, like I think it's like in the East Wing, where you go and pick up this key item, and just this massive thing just charges at you from nowhere, and you're just like, I need to leave. And then you get to Leon's bit. Well, I think the thing that exemplifies the difference between them is you have this whole section where you're trying to evade this massive creature as Grace very early on, and then you get to the end of that section, and then Leon just shows up and headshots it once, and that's it. And it's like, okay, cool. I see how different these characters are.
So where do you think they'll go with the franchise from here then, if this is like the distillation of the previous 8 games?
It's really difficult to say, especially with sort of how it sort of pans out towards the end, because it does feel like this feels like a big grand finale for the series, but I'm sure they'll find some ridiculous way of carrying it on. It's one of Capcom's biggest franchises. They're not going to just go, well, that's the end of that. They'll find something. I'm curious to see where they take it, but you know, for what they've done with this, it's like a really solid celebration of everything we've had so far.
Was worth playing? It's on PC and I assume every console.
PC, PS5, Xbox.
Not Switch 2 yet.
Not Switch 2 yet. Oh no, it is on Switch 2. I think. Yeah.
So there you go, fully
Yeah,
sorted.
because Nintendo and Capcom have a very good relationship, so it would.
Yeah, it seems like a return to form for me, really.
And also what I liked about it is that I could play Grace's section in third person because I didn't really gel with the first person stuff in the previous games. So
Awesome. Sam, how about yourself?
So my One Geek Thing this month is Daredevil Born Again, which...
Just concluded, I think.
It has indeed, yes. So it was season 2 has just finished. So Daredevil was obviously originally a Netflix series, had a reputation for being a sort of slightly darker kind of series compared to a lot of the other sort of superhero stuff going on at the time. Had, I think, 3 or 4 seasons on Netflix, plus the 3, thank you, Keith.
Plus the Defenders in.
Yeah. And then Disney brought it back a year or 2 ago now with Daredevil Born Again. I really loved the first season. I thought it captured the kind of tone of the original really nicely. And yeah, the second season's just been really exciting, I thought. So it sort of starts out in a place where Kingpin, who is one of the best villains in any Marvel piece, I think, is mayor of New York City. He's in a position of power. He's got his own, basically, private army, the Anti-Vigilante Task Force, who are ostensibly there to round up a particular type of dangerous criminal, but are basically being used to capture or disable any of his opponents or anyone he doesn't like, which has some quite obvious parallels with other political figures and groups at the moment, which it handles really well. I think it sort of plays that kind of card without being too obviously kind of beating you over the head with it. And yeah, I just think it's worth watching just for Kingpin. He has some interesting sort of character arcs in this where he has highs and lows, but there are moments where he gets to really let loose as a sort of proper physical threat, and particularly in the finale, he gets there's a very classic scene in the first series of the Netflix Daredevil where he has a sort of corridor fight scene, and Kingpin gets his corridor fight scene, and just the difference between the way the two characters approach that situation is like quite spectacular. So yeah, just for Kingpin alone, it's worth watching. But Charlie Cox's Daredevil, Matt Murdock, is always brilliant as well. They get to actually have a sort of courtroom drama element as well, which I quite liked from the original series. It's sort of, he's not just relying on being a superhero, he's actually, like Matt Murdock has a chance to shine as well. And they also bring back Jessica Jones, who was the other highlight of the original sort of Netflix Defenders series. And yeah, she's like her character has had some life changes since we last saw her, kind of thing, and it's quite nice to kind of catch up with her. They did nerf her powers slightly, which I was a little bit disappointed by, but it does give them a reason for her not to just go and overpower Kingpin and make it a very short series. So yeah, I've really enjoyed that.
Yeah, I think Vincent D'Onofrio, anybody else who's going to play the Kingpin is going to really struggle now, because he's pretty much embodied that character completely. Yeah. And Charlie Cox is fantastic as Daredevil, but I think, as you said, Vincent D'Onofrio has always been the standout, even back in the original Netflix series. I mean, that whole bit with the car door scene, I think that really set his character path out.
Yes. Yeah.
But yeah, so on Disney Plus here in the UK.
It is indeed.
Cool, awesome. Thank you. Keith, how about yourself?
Well, I'm going to pick something that I've not been able to talk about anywhere else. I think because I don't do DC and Marvel comics on a Wednesday now when I do the comics roundup. But there has been a series which I've been absolutely overwhelmed by, that's been running through DC's Absolute line, which started with Absolute Batman, Absolute Superman, Absolute Wonder Woman. So they got the trinity of those, which is quite good. I'm only reading Absolute Batman.
That's
as a
when you said
weekly.
Absolute Batman, I just was like imagining a really huge Batman.
He is a really huge Batman. It's not. He is a big man. But the standout series for me so far has been Absolute Manhunter, which is written by
just the name. I can't take it seriously.
Look, it's superheroes. You got to go with it.
Just got this image of Dog the Bounty Hunter with just like his blonde.
So it's written by Dennis Camp.
Just hearing it in a British accent every time.
Yeah,
Just absolute manhunt.
Absolute Manhunter. It's drawn and coloured by Javier Rodriguez and is lettered by Hassan Otsmani Elahu. I hope I've got your name right, sir. And it's part of the Absolute thing is I'm going to go into this because that's how I do it. At the end of some of the event, Darkseid did this thing and it caused a thing, and there was a splinter universe. So they've got
Sounds about right for comic books. Yeah.
so all of the kind of older heroes have been reinvented in ways that take away something they had before. So with Batman, he hasn't got his billions. With Superman, he doesn't arrive as a child. He lived on Krypton. With Wonder Woman, she's not the daughter of Zeus or whatever it is. They've changed a lot of things around. And with the Martian Manhunter, who's in the main universe is an actual Martian. In this one, it involves an FBI agent called John Jones, which is the pseudonym that the Martian Manhunter takes on in the main universe. And he's kind of taken over by this consciousness, this entity, which manifests itself as a green Martian. And it's kind of there following. He's moved to a town called Middleton. He's trying to solve these crimes, and having been embodied with this consciousness, he gets what they call Martian vision, and he can see like smoke and auras around people, and it helps him solve crimes. It's just kind of like a psychological thriller. There's a lot going on. The artwork is absolutely beautiful, and it's very kind of pop arty. It's very kind of, it's not muted or dark like some of the other titles are. This is very much, it's all about the colours. And the reason I've talked about Hassan as well is that it's all the colouring, it's all the art, it's all the lettering merging together to create this incredible world that these guys have created. It kind of ran for 6 issues originally. There was a bit of a gap, and now it's come back for another 6. It ends its 12-issue run next month as we're recording, so in June will be the final issue. But it really gave me kind of old school Vertigo vibes. It's a little bit weird, a little bit quirky, really intense, lots going on, really beautifully written, lots of great character moments. He's got his whole family and stuff, and John's relationship with his wife and his son and all the rest of it. And there's elements of Shade the Changing Man as well in there that I kind of liked. Pete Milligan series from back in the 80s and 90s. But for me, it's been the standout title in the Absolute range, because it just has done something so uniquely different with the character, but still comes across as like, just an amazing series in its own right.
Because I'm aware of Absolute Batman mainly because they've been riffing off every single anime with their cover design. So they've done like Akira or a Chainsaw Man, etc. So a lot of the covers have just been homages to very famous anime scenes and stuff.
Yeah, so there's been a lot of that, but the Martian Manhunter one's kind of pretty much, I don't think they've done that many variant covers. And I like the Batman stuff, it's kind of cool, but it's still playing too much on what we know of Batman as a character. There's certain elements that have gone away, but it's still quintessentially Batman, whereas this version of the Martian Manhunter is just playing with something really different. It's playing on a lot of levels, it's multi-layered. It's really, really nicely done. The creators themselves have decided that this 12-issue run is what they're going to do. So there's the potential that DC could kind of bring it back. But I don't think it will work with a different creative team, because part of what makes it work so well is the look and the style. So I think doing it another way is going to be... Yeah. I can't see how they're going to do it if they do decide to bring it back with a different creative team. But if you kind of want to get involved in the Absolute universe, I'd say this would be my pick. The others are ongoing, so we're up to like 24, 25 issues of Batman. There's quite a lot of Superman. But Martian Manhunter for me has just been a standout title. Wasn't expecting it to be as good as it was, and I've been blown away with literally every issue. So if you kind of are interested in that kind of Slightly weird. There's like elements of kind of Twin Peaksiness and stuff to it as well. There's all kind of like, it's got that vibe of kind of like, oh, this is all a bit kind of odd and weird. And I absolutely love it. Absolutely love Absolute Manhunter.
Yeah, I was going to say the cover art gives me that real kind of Saul Bass kind of.
Yeah, it's very much that kind of like 60s kind of pop arty vibe. It's phenomenal. It's really good. So I highly recommend it. So check it out if you haven't already.
Awesome, thank you. That DC comic book store.
DC, yeah, available online physically. I think the first 6 issues have been collected, but the second run at the moment is still in single issues, so you won't get the complete story until that's finished in June.
Awesome, thank you. Right, I don't think there's any big surprise about this one because I've been chatting about this in the show chat for a week, and a friend of the show, Phil, got me onto this. But it is Dungeon Crawler Carl, which is apparently over every single other person's social media completely, because the 8th book in the series has just came out. I'm about 6 books in, and that's in the space of a month because it is just that addictive. But science fantasy lit RPG, which is a genre I've never heard of, which is basically a literary RPG where you're reading along as the player character is the kind of the dominant person in the book. But yep, so Dungeon Crawler Call, you probably heard about it. Author Matt Dinnerman, he originally self-published the books. First one came out in 2020, and then it was purchased by Ace Books in 2024. But there has been some of the best audiobooks I have ever put into my ears by the amazing voice actor Jeff Hayes, who pretty much does 99.9% of the voice acting in the book. And when you listen to it, you will not believe that one person has done all these voices. He is absolutely fantastic. But yeah, the series starts off with pretty much an apocalypse on the Earth. It gets turned into a game show planet, so it's mild spoilers, but every building, car, everything gets flattened on the Earth. And if you were outside, you're one of the lucky ones because you're one of the survivors, because everybody else has just been... And yeah, they turn the Earth into a dungeon-themed game show, which the entire universe is kind of a big thing that they do every few years. And then, yeah, so it becomes an intergalactic reality dungeon game show. And then the survivors are basically drawn in and turned into characters in this show. So it's kind of, they all pick character classes, etc., and it's how do they fight through, and there's like 18 levels to try and descend, and like they progressively get harder and harder. So the main character is a guy called Carl, as you probably expect, ex-United States Coast Guard, and he's partnered up with his sentient ex-girlfriend's cat, Princess Donut. And it's their journey.
I feel like that description was a little bit like a sentient ex-girlfriend's cat.
Yes.
Like his ex-girlfriend was sentient. I would hope so.
No, basically the whole thing starts off with he has to try and get, the cat has escaped the house, so he gets to try and bring the cat back in. And that's the premise of the planet being turned into this game show. And then the cat gains sentience after eating an enchanted pet biscuit. Yeah. But
it's just the placement of the word sentient in that sentence.
Yes. But yeah, so basically there's lots of other characters, Mordecai, Katia, Mongo, who is her pet velociraptor. Yes.
Okay.
And yeah, so yeah.
Just casually throwing out that.
Yep. Yeah, and then yeah, so there's a big character, a range of characters, including Zev, a talking fish. But yeah, it's kind of gained steam very recently. I mean, I think the first book came out in 2020, so it gained. Matt Dinnerman started off doing other books, and then he started publishing them, self-publishing them from Amazon, and they got really popular. And then it got picked up as by Penguin Random House. But yeah, the audiobooks are apparently the main way that people are getting into it, mainly due to the fantastic narration of Jeff Hayes. But yeah, they've oversold, I think, physical copies, like 6 million plus audiobooks now, I think. So it's really, really popular. And they're actually currently remaking them into a full audio casted version of the books with sound effects and everything else. So there's 3 versions. Basically, you can read it in print, the audiobooks, which probably I would say is my choice, is if you're going to involve yourself into the universe, try the audiobooks by Jeff Hayes, because he's such a fantastic voice artist. And then there's this kind of sound booth theatre, which is his company doing also full produced versions of them. But yeah, I'm not going to go into it too much, but the latest book, called A Parade of Horribles, has just dropped out now. So that's the 8th book in the series. And if you think this guy has gone through 8 books in 6 years, and they're all quite hefty tomes, It is an absolutely fantastic.
I'm just looking at the length of the audiobooks.
Yes.
And like, I was sort of the first one's 13 and a half hours, and I'm thinking, blimey, that's a lot.
Yeah.
And you scroll down, it's like 20 hours.
Yeah, the latest, well, the inevitable
28 hours
is 28 hours and 40 minutes. So the latest release is Parade of Horribles. That's only clocking at 20 hours, so it's a bit shorter. But I'm currently midway through The Eyes of the Bedlam Bride, which is 26 hours and 46 minutes.
Yeah. I mean, I it's literally in the last 2 weeks that I've become more aware of this. When we were at Free Comic Book Day, they did put a comic out to go with it. And I think I'd seen one of the books in a bookshop while I was looking for some other books. Kind of looked at it, thought, well, this looks cute, I might think about it. And then totally forgot about it. And then suddenly...
Yeah, the first I'd heard of it was like literally right before then was... the YouTuber Ginny D, who does like D&D content, she did a video about the RPG they're releasing based on it, and sort of going through the mechanics of it and sort of doing character creation in that system. And that was like the first I'd really heard of it. And then suddenly I'm seeing it everywhere. Yeah. You know?
Yeah. Yeah, it has just completely exploded in popularity, and I think as part of it is Backer Kit put a lot of money behind the advertising campaign because it's an RPG and a trading card game at the same time, so they're doing both, and they've put a lot behind that release. Audible, because it's an Audible exclusive, unfortunately, so if you don't like Jeff Bezos and his media empire, you're going to struggle to find them elsewhere. I think they are available on Apple Books or on Spotify to stream them in the UK.
It's weird because the first few books are still almost print on demand. Because I looked at picking up the books and was like, oh yeah, it'll take about 2 or 3 weeks to deliver this first one, or the first two that are still. So I'm assuming at some point now it's reached this, they're going to get republished. And there'll be the kind of like 8-volume box set. And stuff, so it might become a little bit more.
Penguin Random House, I think. But the artwork on the newer releases is absolutely fantastic as well. It's really eye-catching. But yeah, it's about to be adapted into a TV show. I think Seth MacFarlane's company, Christopher Yost, is involved. And it's going to be for Peacock. So they're in development.
So no one's going to watch it then.
Yeah. There's a graphic novel. As I said, there's a board games coming out. Playmates Toys have picked up to do a range of toys based on it. Renegade
There'll be a Princess Donut plushie at some point. I'm sure.
Yeah, and the webcomic, which also...
Well, no, it's finally arrived when there's a Funko Pop.
Oh, God.
But yeah, I mean, I would say the writing is not Pulitzer Prize winning, but it's a fantastic story and you get really engaged with the characters, and it has these moments of pathos. There's some really strong moments of comedy, there's some really strong moments of pathos in there, and they do massively keep you engaged, and you do really learn to feel and love these characters. And yeah, and I say one more time, Jeff Hayes, best audiobook narrator I've ever heard, so go and check him out. Cool, and that was our Geek Things. To recap, Lee?
Resident Evil Requiem.
Sam?
Daredevil Born Again.
Keith?
Absolute Manhunter from DC Comics.
And me, the Dungeon Crawler Carl series of books. Thank you for joining us on this issue of Geeky Brummie. Don't forget you can find us if you're watching us on YouTube, and you can watch previous episodes, or on Spotify if you want to watch us on Spotify, or via audio on your streaming service of choice. Lee, where can we find you online?
You can find me on YouTube at Bob the Pet Ferret and Blue Sky under the same name. And also you can find me every Friday on the Geeky Brummie website doing the games roundup.
Awesome. Sam, how about yourself?
You can find me at SDEdwards89 on Blue Sky, Threads and Instagram, and every Thursday on the Geeky Brummie website doing the film roundup.
Keith, how about yourself?
Generally on the socials under Hard Luck Hotel, and mostly Wednesdays on the Geeky Brummie website with the comics roundup of mostly independent books, not the DC and Marvel ones, but maybe a few quirkier titles that you might not have thought about.
Awesome, thank you. And you can find Geeky Brummie on Instagram, Facebook, Threads, when we remember, Blue Sky, when I remember the login details, and your social media service of choice, of course, and of course on Twitter, YouTube, and at geekybrummie.com, where you can find these fine people's work. Bye.
I told you that was it. The Geeky Brummie Podcast is presented by Ryan Parish. featuring Sam Edwards, Lee Price and Keith Bloomfield. The podcast is produced by Viv Parish and is recorded at Millennium Point in the heart of Birmingham. You can follow us on all of the social medias at Geeky Brummie, and you can support the show by visiting ko-fi.com/Geeky Brummie. This was a Geeky Brummie production, and until next time, ta-ra a bit.